Hey lovelies, thanks for stopping by for another BYOP. I am very excited for today's palette. We are doing a palette based on a favorite summer fragrance. And if you saw my community tab here on YouTube, or if you are following me on Instagram and you saw my stories, I actually asked all of you to help me pick a favorite scent to be able to represent today. I just couldn't pick. So I picked 3, had you all vote, and I went with the one that got the most votes. So we're gonna get into that in just a moment. But if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist. And here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. And if you are new to this channel, you probably haven't seen this series before. My friend Kara from Beauty and the Frizz and I started this well over 2 years ago now in hopes of using our eyeshadow singles more. I know that a lot of us have loved getting single shadows to be able to play around with, create with, and sometimes it's fun to buy them, swatch them, put them in the palettes that we have, and then it's like, oh, how long has it been since I've used that one? So this is a great way to get creative and use the makeup that we already have. All right, we're gonna dive in. Now, I do wanna say that if anybody else has jumped in on this one, I know for sure that there are a couple people. I will have them linked down below to share with you, whether it's someone who is sharing on Instagram or it's another YouTube creator. Also, if you are just a makeup enthusiast, you can always tag Kara and I over on Instagram with pictures of your creations, your palette, swatches, whatever you'd like to do. We really love this community that we've created of people who love using single shadows as much as we do. And ooh, we don't have a theme picked out for next month. I just realized that usually at the end of each video, I share with you for next month. So what I will probably end up doing is posting down in the comments what next month's will be. Got to chat with Kara, and I know she's on a trip right now. All right, lovelies, let's go ahead and get into this. So I had 3 scents that I posted a poll on, and there are 3 scents that I absolutely love for summer and I just couldn't pick. So again, I asked all of you and I just went with the one that got the most votes. So the one that ended up winning for this summer fragrance BYOP is Ellis Brooklyn Sunfruit. I have talked about this on my channel before. I absolutely love this one. I've had it for 2 years now. I believe it launched 2 years ago. I got it right away at launch because the description of it, the brand marketing, everything was great. I actually love the Ellis Brooklyn Haus. I have 4, 5, I don't even know, quite a few fragrances from them, and I really do enjoy them. So I'll just give you a little peek at the bottle here. Totally cute, absolutely love it. Matches my phone case. All right, so if you have never smelled this, I'm gonna give you the brand description and the notes. So let's dive into Sunfruit. So the brand says, tan lines, bare skin, and sun-warmed florals. Sunfruit Eau de Parfum is unapologetically heady, brazen, and rich. A reinvention of the fruity floral, Sunfruit features a creamy and unexpected blend of fresh fig, bergamot, hand-picked jasmine, cyclamen, and vanilla. Addictive and inspirational, it's the kind of scent that inspires vacation daydreams. So I ended up picking this one up, like I said, right away, blind bought it, was like, this is totally gonna be for me. I will say, it wasn't what I expected, and I can't quite remember what it was that they were celebrating right off the bat, as far as like the sneak peeks, the previews, the marketing images. This is different than what I expected. It's amazing, but it's different than what I expected, but I have obviously come to really enjoy this one. I think that this is such a beautiful summer. Again, they talk about it being, you know, a fruity floral. This is more, I think it's that it is more fruity and floral than I thought it was going to be, because I think that the brand really was hyping up the coconut. They were hyping up the fig, which are 2 notes that I absolutely love. And I didn't quite expect it to be so fruity. It's not like overly sickly sweet, fruit punch, sticky Kool-Aid sitting in the sun at a picnic for 6 hours. It's not like that. It's much cooler, fresher. I really enjoy this one. Again, just to kind of go over the notes. The top notes are bergamot, plum leaves, fresh fig, and pear. The mid notes are hand-picked jasmine, cyclamen, orris, and orange blossom, and the dry down is amber, vanilla plantifolia, musks, and coconut. So really, you're getting that freshness of the fig and the bergamot in the opening. I love pear in a fragrance. You do get quite a bit of that from this. It's so funny because I sprayed this morning, obviously to put it on to like get in the mood. And Jeremy was like, ooh, that smells good. He's like, what did he say? He said, plum flowers? And I was like, and he literally just like said plum flowers. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think it has jasmine. I'm like, is plum flower even a thing? And then when I pulled up the flipping notes, I was like, babe, there are plum leaves in here. He started laughing. I'm like, wow, I don't know. He's getting to be as much of a fragrance nerd as I am. But you get the green fig from this. Yeah, this is definitely that green, fresh fig scent. The creaminess from the coconut, and again, those notes like amber, vanilla, and musk in the bottom really balances it out. It's floral, but it's fresh floral. It's not like chewing on a bouquet. You know that I don't love that. This is such a great one for summer because it is light, fresh. You can totally wear it in summer heat. The bottle makes me happy. The scent makes me happy. It's a great mix of fresh and creamy, and I absolutely adore it. So I was excited to see which one you guys picked. Now, I don't know if everybody was just going off of the bottle. Now, I will say when I picked out my palette, I went off of the fragrance itself, not just the bottle. A little bit of the bottle. How could I not, right? But really it's about the feeling of this scent, the vibe of this scent, and yeah, just really the fragrance itself. So let's take a peek at my palette. So I'm gonna try not to blind you here. This, of course, I mean, you guys can tell. I had to pull out a bright, bright yellow. Like, how could I not? But this is really what I get from this scent. And I cannot wait to describe this to you. So we're gonna go through, we're gonna do swatches. Very clearly, you can see that I'm not wearing any eye makeup. I'm also not wearing any concealer. I just realized that. So hopefully I can dab a little bit of that on after we do the eye look. But we're gonna do that together. So I hope you're along for the ride. I'm gonna zoom you in right now so we can talk about the shades in my Sunfruit palette. All right, I want to apologize if it seems a bit dark, especially as I zoom in. It's a really dark, dreary day today. So perfect day to put on something like this to give me a mood boost, but definitely not the greatest for filming because I don't want to turn up my lights too light because then it blows out the color of the shadows. And we're all here for the shadows, right? All right, so this first shade actually represents a lot within this fragrance, but it is also aptly named. This is Green Anjou from Sydney Grace, and how could I not with there being pear in this scent. I think that this is such a pretty fresh green, and I think, you know, you've got the bergamot in here, so you get that like brightness. You of course have the fig note in here, which to me smells very green, exactly like this shade, and you get of course the pear. So we're gonna pop this one on. Hopefully you guys will be able to see here. This is a really fun shade. I love greens like this. Now, the next one very clearly is inspired by the bottle, but also just the energy of the fragrance. And I actually just used this in a recent BYOP, but it is the brightest yellow that I have. And this is Toucan from Nomad Cosmetics. This, I believe, is in the Monteverde palette, which actually is on sale right now for 30% off. So you can check that out if you really love some bright colors like this. I picked up a couple of the mattes when they were doing their singles sale. They don't offer the singles anymore, but it was the mattes in this palette that I really wanted, so I did pick up a few, but you'll be able to see here. It's a soft textured shadow, but it is really nice and bright. I think if you wanted like super electricity from this, you know, especially like as I'm getting more tan in the summer, I would need to put down a white base. But I really like the tone of this. It makes me really happy. Okay, so another matte that we're gonna go into is this shade, again, from Sydney Grace. This is Bewitching Gaze. And this is this sort of like hazy lavender pink. I really wanted this in here to represent some of the floral note, but I wanted something with a little bit of a softer, hazy look to it because I don't get like in your face florals from this. Now you do have cyclamen in here, which really does give a fresh green, a little bit spicy note to fragrances. It does come in shades that are actually maybe just a little bit more pink than this, but we also have Orris, which is also known as iris, by the way, and I have definitely seen irises that have this color, so this does represent a lot of the florals in this, and the Orris in here gives it that Orris smells a little bit powdery, like a like a buttery, powdery kind of thing. I don't get a lot of that in here, thankfully, because I don't love a powdery scent, but it does probably just soften out the green, crisp, like punch in the face of the bergamot and the fig. So really love this. I just also think that these colors paired together always make me really happy. Okay, so this next shade is our first shimmer in the palette. It is also the last shade that I put in here, which is kind of interesting. This one is from Glam Shop, and this is the shade Splash. I love this. I have put this in so many BYOPs before. It is just a beautiful, creamy color. I think this really represents, you know, a lot of the musk, the vanilla, even that like kind of like flesh of the coconut, but it does have a bit of sparkle to it. I was going to do a more standard shimmer. I wanted, because pretty much all of my shimmers in here have a little bit of like tiny micro fleck to them, but this scent is so effervescent that I felt like that was appropriate. I was like, this just has a very bubbly feel to it. It's creamy. It has some softness, which I wanted to represent within like the creamy tones, but it's just so like lighthearted, and I get that from like sparkly shades. I need a makeup wipe, BRB. Okay, so this next shimmer, let me tell you, I swatched a lot of yellowy, greeny, yellow-green shades, and I was trying to find the perfect one, and this ended up being the one that I thought was really indicative of this scent. This is from Glaminatrix, and this is the shade Hopping. I believe this was one from maybe like a launch around Easter. This was actually gifted to me by a wonderful subscriber. This has such a beautiful, like, it is green, but it does have a little bit of that yellow flip to it, and it's just so bright, so happy. So to me, you get that citrus punch, you get you know, a little bit of that like pear note. You know, pears can have that like green yet yellow vibe to them. It's just so pretty. It's fun yet still soft, and I think that that's exactly what this fragrance is. All right, so now we're gonna move into Dirt Road from Sydney Grace, and this to me again represents the softer side of this fragrance. That amber, the vanilla, the musk of this scent, it just really kind of like grounds the fragrance. And this is also a very grounding shade. You know, you would be able to use this to dust into your crease and just very easily whisk on one of these shades if you have a day where you're like, okay, I just need something really quickly. And you know, like, while I love doing these palettes as inspiration, I do honestly create them in a way where it's like, okay, would I wear this palette? And for me, as you know, all palettes need to have a few light and dark tones. They need to have a bright inner corner. This palette admittedly does not have a lot of darkness to it, but it does have a couple depthier shades that I know I would be able to use. This fragrance just doesn't have any darkness to it, so I wanted something that was pretty light and bright. Okay, speaking of light and bright, this is the shade Fairystone from Shine by SD. This is from the As Above collection. And this is, again, just representing that light floral vibe, you know, between the Sydney Grace shade that I picked out and this one. You know, figs have that purpley color to them. And so I wanted to have a little bit of that represented in here, but I wanted to keep it light, to keep it bright, you know. So again, this is probably more representative of the light florals in this. But I did want something that was like light, bright, but lavendery to kind of represent that fig. By the way, at the end, I will do a little up close zoomed in just because it is so dark in here. I want to make sure to be able to show you these shades really well, especially since some of them are a little bit shifty and unique, and I really like that. Okay, so the darkest shade in this palette, I had to have something in here that represented that coconut. You know, like we think of like creamy white for coconut, but also that earthy shell, you know, like I feel like in this scent, it is that earthy coconut. It's not overly sunscreeny. This is a very fresh, bright fragrance, but it does have a little bit of that grounding here. So I actually chose a Makeup Geek shade. This is the shade Mocha. I wanted a shade that wasn't too cool. It wasn't too warm. You know, I really wanted something that brought forth the true color of a coconut shell. So I find that this one was pretty true. This is obviously going to really be able to give some nice depth to our eye looks. You could use it as a liner, so many different ways to use it. I think I could also buff this out really nice and just create a lighter tone as well if I wanted to. All right, we're moving into our last two shades. So again, I wanted to represent that creaminess, yet the effervescence of the scent. And I find that this shade really does this. It's also a shade that I have really enjoyed using. I've used this one a lot on my inner corner, but it's just such a beautiful one. This is from Devinah, and this is Sour Spanks. So this shade, it just has such a beautiful undertone and yet a really bright flip. So I just found that it was the perfect combination. And because it does have a little cast of almost like a yellowy green, maybe you can see that in a little finger swatch here. So this is such a fun one. It's kind of a creamy tone, but with a like bubbly effervescence. And see here, like it looks more nude, more creamy. And then you definitely see more of that like green yellow. So fun. Absolutely love it. This last one is really that like coconut flesh, yet in a fun, bright way. I've used this one actually quite a bit in palettes before. This is another one from Glam Shop, and this is White Rabbit. You can't see here, but this is one of the velvet shadows. So it is a soft shimmer base with a lot of little micro flecks in it. And I thought that that was a really fun way to represent white. You know, you've got the white of the label of this fragrance. You've got the white or close to white of coconut flesh. And this does have some gold little microflecks to it, which you'll be able to see in the up close look at this. But this does have gold on the bottle. So I thought it was nice to have a little bit of that gold represented. So I think this is a really fun palette. I think it's representative of what you see out of the bottle, but also what you smell when you're wearing this. It's absolutely a fun one. So now I'm gonna do a little zoomed in look at all of these shades for you. I will, by the way, have all of these listed down below in the description if you wanted to check any of them out. Some of these, like I believe like Hopping from Glaminatrix maybe isn't available anymore. I don't know for sure, but I'll have them all down below as inspo for you. All right. The saddest thing about wiping off these swatches is the fact that now I probably wiped off some Sunfruit. So I'll probably have to reapply in just a little bit. The baby wipe scent is not really my jam. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Now I do think I'm only gonna do one look with this palette. I'm really excited to keep using this one. I'm gonna keep this out for summer because I think it's a good combo, especially because right now I really have been enjoying light looks, you know, and I don't just mean like light colored, I just mean soft. That's more what I'm liking. So I could see very easily whisking on one of these mattes, a shimmer, a pop on the inner corner, and just being good to go. So I'm definitely gonna keep this one out. If for some reason I end up having time to do another one before I have to get this video done, I will go ahead and add it in, but I just don't want this video to be too long either. I think a lot of it is just the fun of the inspo of the palette. Let me know, by the way, what do you really love about this series? Do you love the inspiration, getting to see our shadow picks and swatches? Do you love seeing the looks? What is it? I really enjoy getting to see like what people pick out, create, build for themselves, and getting to see the swatches of the fun shadows. I like seeing the looks, but to me, that's not like the most important. So I have a lot of times only been doing one look. But if you're all like, we love seeing more looks, then I'll make sure to do a couple when I can. All right, anyway, let's go ahead and do this. So what do I want to do? I don't know. I did try to do some more like lavendery color on the cheeks and on the lips. By the way, I know that I sort of like gave these a little bit of a boo, these Plum Shot Buxom multi-chromes or duochromatic lips, because they aren't as shiny as what I thought that they were going to be from the marketing campaigns. But I do like this one, just the look of it on the lips. It's Spellbound Pink. I'm going to add a little bit more here, but I thought that this was great to go. Look at that. See, it's just bright and fun. It does have a little bit of micro fleck to it. It's not overly glossy though. You know, it's not super sheeny. They feel so amazing. They feel really luscious on the lips, like smooth, creamy, satiny almost, really pretty, but not as glossy as I was wanting. But that's okay, because we're gonna have a really bright eye very clearly, so we don't need even more shine. So I think I'm gonna start with green Anjou. Y'all, I have been neglecting my brush cleaning. I really need to do some brush cleaning as I'm like digging through here for a brush that I want to use. Most days I use just concealer on my eyes for a base, but since we're using bright colors, I want them to pop. I'm gonna go through with the Prelusion base from Devinah. I really like using this when I want a little bit more electricity. I'm gonna just go through with the Larifay E18 and apply this to my lids. So BRB. All right, so of course my insurance agent would call right in the middle of applying a base to my eyelid, but I just wanted to show you this base does have a very slight lighter tint to it. It's not so much that it makes your eye look chalky or weird. You know, if you're using like a really like white based eye primer, I think that can be so odd, because if you don't have shadow that goes past the eye primer, or at least, you know, up to the edge of it, sometimes you end up having that like weird ghost skin eye, you know, like right here. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't like it when it looks too pale. So this is just perfect. Also, that probably means that it works for more skin tones too. So that's always great. Okay. Now this does not have a lot of tack to it, which is perfect. I don't want anything that's going to make it harder to blend shadows. I just wanted something that's gonna, you know, let it live its best life. Okay, so now we're gonna go through with that green Anjou. And I think I'm gonna end up putting this all over the lid and up into the crease, because I think I'm gonna end up using Sour Spanks on the lid, and I wanna have a base underneath it. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave the middle of my lid pretty open and naked, and then just kind of like blend this green into the corners just a tiny bit. That way we can have almost like that slight halo eye feel. All right, I'm just taking a clean brush with no product. This is the KJH number 10. And I'm just like blurring out that edge. I just want it super soft. I'm also keeping a little bit tighter shape going up past my crease and up, you know, onto the hood so that we can see the color. But I just want it soft. This color is so like bold and bright. I mean, it's not like neon, but it's definitely green. And right now it's all about like soft vibes. All right, on a Rephr 02, I took Sour Spanks and wet it on my brush, and I'm just gonna tap this on. And I'm literally just like tapping everywhere. I'm not going to swipe too much because I already have my makeup on. I could have used a glitter glue for a little bit of insurance, but I just really didn't want to have to do so much. It's summer, y'all. It's about like less layers, right? In our clothes, in our makeup, in all the things. Cute. I'm gonna blend out the edge of that in just a moment, but I'm gonna do the other eye first. Okay, now that most of the shadow's off the brush, I'm just flipping it over and I'm blending any harsh edge. Oh, I colored outside the lines a little bit down here on the bottom, but that's okay. We can take care of that. This is fun. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and pop on a little concealer, because the rest of what I wanna do is on my inner corner and under eye, keeping this very, very fresh and light, but I do wanna add a little bit more, so I'll be right back. All right, an ever so small amount of concealer, just to try to clean that up. I'm gonna take a white pencil. Oh, is this one even gonna work? My ColourPop one is pretty much dried out, but we're gonna try to pop a little bit of this on the inner corner, just to make a nice white base for that yellow. And I'm literally just putting like a tiny amount down. And then I'll take a pencil brush. I've got the Larifay one here, and I'm just gonna like blend out that edge just a smidge. And then I'm gonna take that Toucan from Nomad and pop it right there. This should hopefully help this have a little bit of longevity. I find in high heat and humid weather, bright colors like this just tend to fade a little. So hopefully having, well, not that that ColourPop was very creamy anymore. I've had that one for a long time. I keep having this rogue hair that doesn't want to sit down and be humble. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you're able to see that. It's actually pretty bright. I don't feel like it's showing up bright, on the camera, but it is very bright. Now we're just going to add a little bit of a neutral tone to the under eye with another smudger here. Which one do I want to use? Let's take this guy from Blend Bunny. This is the B3, and we're gonna go into Dirt Road from Sydney Grace, just to add a little bit of shape and shadow under the eye. I hope you've been able to see this. I just realized it's been so long since I filmed doing an eye look that I'm like all up in my business. Like I'm sitting here in the morning getting ready for work, which I actually am, but I didn't think about, oh, I gotta like keep out of the way. Wow, what a rookie mistake. Sorry about that. All right, that just added a very small amount, but it sort of fills that in, gives me some depth on the lower lash line. I really like it. This is fun. This is super fun. This is definitely the most colorful look I've worn in a while, but still fairly soft. You know, I'm really digging this. So I'm gonna go put on some mascara. All right, I have to say, I absolutely love this look. I think it is very summertime fresh, and it definitely exudes what I get as far as the vibes from Ellis Brooklyn Sunfruit. So you'll have to let me know. How do you think I did? If you have this one, let me know if you think I did a good job sort of representing it. If you don't have this one, is it something that you're interested in trying? I absolutely love it. So thank you so much, lovelies, for joining in. Like I said, I will have next month's theme posted down below in the comments. We've been having a lot of fun with these themes lately. We've been getting a lot of great ideas from all of you, so make sure you keep those rolling in as well. I will also make sure to have Kara's video and any other creators linked down below, so check that out. I cannot wait to see. I have no idea which scent that Kara picked out, but you know that we are both big fragrance nerds, so it's gonna be a really fun one. I know that my friend Stephen Ford did this one because it was their suggestion, by the way, that we do this video. So I know that Stephen has done a couple iterations for their palette, so I cannot wait to see that as well. I would have a feeling that they're probably gonna be posting pictures on Instagram, so I'll make sure to have their account linked as well. All right, lovelies, it's been great. Thank you so much for joining me for this one. These BYOPs are always a lot of fun. I hope you're having a great summer. I hope you're enjoying some great summer scents, and I will see you really soon.